In this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to get better at criminality, such as improving aim and lowering recoil. I'll be showing 6 steps on what I did to get my aim and recoil, and hopefully all of your questions will be answered. I also recommend you to watch the full video since this will help everyone, including experienced players. Now the first thing you want to do is make sure you have an FPS unlocker. I use an FPS unlocker called Blockstrap. It has a bunch of features built into it and it's pretty good for criminality. If you do want to download it, I'll leave a tutorial in the description or on the top right of my video right now. Once you do have the FPS unlocker, make sure you cap your FPS to see how much you can run the game at. In most areas of the map, I can run over 165 FPS and it won't go below that, so I can safely cap my FPS to 165. For some of you guys, you can run 100 FPS in one area, but can drop to 60 FPS in another area. If that was to happen, I would put my FPS to 75 because that would be the most consistent. The reason why you want to cap your FPS is because you want to stay consistent, which allows you to memorize the recoil for all guns, until you could do it without even thinking about it. The sad truth is, having better FPS will give you a huge advantage over people with lower FPS in most shooting games. There are a couple of videos of ways to increase FPS, which I will link in the description, but for now, turn your graphics to the lowest you can if you do struggle with FPS. Once you are comfortable with your FPS, we will move on to step 2. Step 2 is your sensitivity. Now, sensitivity is based on your personal preference, but if you're having trouble finding a good sensitivity to use, I'm going to show you a solution. Now, before even changing your sensitivity, we want to look at your mouse area. If your mouse pad is small, I'd recommend using a faster mouse speed. If your mouse pad is big, I recommend using a slower mouse speed. If you don't have a mouse pad at all, I highly recommend you to get one, even if it's big or small, because sometimes the surface of whatever you're using won't always register your mouse movement, but the same rules apply for how much space you want to have for your mouse. For me, I have a slightly big mouse pad, so I use a slower sensitivity. But this is literally all based on your own personal preference. I just like having a slower mouse sensitivity because I feel the most comfortable with it, and it's just so much easier to track people from longer ranges. The people that keep asking me what's my sense, I have 800 DPI and 0.07 in ROBLOX, which is super weird, but that's what I'm most comfortable with. The most important part is that you don't want to keep consistently changing your sensitivity, because if you keep changing your sensitivity, you will never get consistent aim and recoil, which is the most important thing. If you suck with what you're comfortable with, that's completely fine. You just need to give yourself some time to cook and practice, and over time, you'll get used to what you're comfortable with, which is what you want. So once you're done finding your sweet spot, we can move on to step 3. Step 3 is get a custom crosshair. The custom crosshair I use is Crosshair V2, and I literally use it for every shooter game. The app is free and you could just search it up in the Microsoft Store. Once you open it, a menu will pop up and there's going to be a bunch of controls on how to change your crosshair on the top right. My favorite crosshair is the dog crosshair, if you notice from all my videos, and I usually make it pretty small. There's also a bunch of other crosshairs to choose from in colors, but I'm fine with just the plain old simple blue dot. Also, please make sure you are in full screen when you use the crosshair, or else it won't be in the center of your screen. These custom crosshairs will allow you to still aim with like weird gun control animations without messing up your aim, and it helps you stay more consistent. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of dynamic crosshairs that like move around when you shoot, like in CSGO. I like static crosshairs that just stay in one place the entire time, which you could do in CSGO, but most Roblox games you don't have the option to, which is why I just love this app. Once you're comfortable with the crosshair you have, we can move on to step 4. Step 4 is your crosshair placement. This one is really obvious, but it can help you in the long run. Look, you don't want to be like slightly aiming up or down in a weird direction. You always want to be placing your crosshair on whatever your opponent's height is. This allows you to have the chance to get the first shot on someone, which is always really important. If you're using an automatic, I recommend you to aim for the body because the recoil will go up to their heads anyway. But once you get better over time, you can just aim for their head and control the recoil. For shotguns, you don't want to really aim for the head since the bullet spread might go over their heads anyways. As a melees, no one uses melees, they're just stupid. Don't use melees. Step 5 is game sense. I know aim has a lot to do with how good a player you could be, but you need to know certain advantages and disadvantages inside of the game. First, what I want you to do is just to learn the map layout and different parkour spots you could do, which can benefit your survival. I'd memorize each rooftop in the game since shooting from rooftops give you an immediate advantage, because it would take a lot of time for the player that you shot to climb up and kill you. Learning sound cues is an amazing help if you have headphones as well. You could be wary that someone has a big weapon like an RPG or a BFG, If you hear an SCP elevator noise, you would know that people are going up and down from vibe check. These are just a couple examples, but you get the point. You don't want to be using a lot of stamina before going into a fight, which is pretty obvious. So if you hear gunfire near you, just make sure you're at 100% stamina. Step 6, practice makes perfect. For me personally, I don't like to use aim trainers because it doesn't give you the actual experience of the game, and I also find them pretty boring. But if you want to improve your aim as quickly as possible, I highly recommend playing any quick first-person shooter games on Roblox. My personal favorites being the no-scope games, since they are fun, it's quick rounds, and it helps you practice your reaction time, which I find really helpful. I'll show you guys some quick gameplay with Minecraft music in the background.
They turn out like fucked up like that.
But if you solely wanted to practice recoil, I recommend joining the Criminality Discord server, and they have a specific channel for VIPs. You could join the ones that have like infinite cash and then just buy the gun you want to use and then test out your recoil from short to long ranges. I personally just got used to the recoil over the years, but the FPS does really help. And yeah, that's like my little tutorial. You won't become the best player overnight, but if you do follow these steps and keep practicing, I guarantee you will become better at Criminality and other Roblox games. If you do have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll respond as quickly as I can. Other than that, like and sub if you want me to do more crim vids. Have a good rest of your day and see ya.